Hey, thank you so much for checking out the Pen Wargame. Pen stands for Play Easily Now, and our mission at Hoodwink is to create a wargame for you that's fast but strategically deep and extremely customizable to whatever miniatures you have and might want to play with. Keep watching this video to see kind of a superficial overview of the system, and then hit like and subscribe so that you can follow along for the rest of this series on what the system does, how it works, and how you can get involved. So why play the Pen Wargame? There are a lot of great games out there, and this is definitely one of them, but it's great for you if you have miniatures that you already want to use, but that might not fit into an existing wargame. For example, if you have a bunch of Lego minifigures sitting around, dust them off, put them on the table, create rules for them, and you can play with them using the Pen Wargame. If you are a big fan of 3D printing and maybe you follow people on Patreon or you love downloading minis off of Cults 3D or My Mini Factory, you can print those minis and you can field them in customizable armies. Or maybe you already love war games. I personally am a huge fan of Warhammer 40k. I play Adeptus Mechanicus. But I just don't really have time to keep up to date on the newest editions, newest releases, or buying new models. So the Pen Wargame is a great fit for you if you have miniatures that you want to use. It's also super inexpensive. You can actually download most all of the rules for free, and there's a link to that in the description of this video down below. Or you can buy a full PDF, which starts at $15, or a softcover or hardcover, which are both under $40. So the barrier of entry is much cheaper than a lot of other war games. The time is also a lot more flexible. If you're like me, you might be in college, you might be working, you might have a family, or be starting a job or having kids, and you don't have an entire Saturday to put into a huge war game. Pen Wargame lets you play a couple different sizes, varying from 15-minute one-on-one games all the way up to huge complicated battles that could last 4+ hours, and a bunch of different times in between. So whatever type of experience you're looking for, you can get it with the Pen Wargame. There's also fully customizable units for this game. So unlike other war games where you kind of pick a pre-built profile, with the Pen Wargame, you pick your miniature and then you choose from over 100 different abilities and you customize them the way that you want to build your own profiles and strategies. This results in over a quadrillion different possible units, so there is endlessly customizable strategy and gameplay with the Pen Wargame. That said, the system isn't for everybody, and that's okay. If you're a lorehead and you just love the story behind the system and you love the art and the world, Pen might not be for you. The game is designed to be generic to play for any system with any miniatures, and we are going to be releasing expansions that have lore and settings baked into them, but the base game does not. We also don't have our own miniature line, so if you love a really cohesive, really beautiful, really exciting line of miniatures, we don't provide that with this particular game, but you can use all of the ones that you already know and love, again, from Patreon or Wargames or from Legos. It's also a little bit less realistic. The game is only 8 pages of rules, so we really try and make sure that it is still strategically valuable and complicated without being overwhelming. To do that, we do have to make some sacrifices in terms of realism. So if you get enjoyment out of a hyper-realistic, hyper-detailed system, this isn't it. Also, we don't have a competitive scene at the moment. Where games like Warhammer have an international community with tournaments and combats and standardized rules, we have the standardized rulebook, but they allow enough flexibility that you can play casual games with your dorm mates, your roommates, your coworkers, your siblings, and whatever you might want to. So we don't have as competitive of a scene, but we have a much easier barrier of entry. Along with that low barrier of entry, to get started, all you need is the free manual down below and some miniatures. Actually, in our demo, we even include 2 armies worth of free paper miniatures if you want to give the system a try on your own. But like I said, you can be pulling miniatures from 3D printing, from Legos, from other war games, from D&D minis, whatever you might have around. We also recommend that you start with 5 6-sided dice. The game uses only 6-sided dice, so you can pull them out of that old game of Monopoly or Risk, or you can download a dice roller on your phone, or you can even buy them really inexpensively online. And lastly, all you need is a friend. Hoodwink Games is a huge believer too in that games are a great way to get to know each other and make new friends, and that's the same with Pen Wargame. The barrier of entry is low enough that you can teach this to a younger sibling, a roommate, someone that you just met at your local hobby store, and they can pick it up just like that. So grab a friend, new or old, and join us as we dive into the pen war game.